And welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Renoy, what you got? If anyone can find that treasure, it's us. Even if we don't, the adventure will be reward enough, I reckon. What are these options? Unique, untradeable. Advantage chests contain a complete set of Diruquant armor of Fending. Required level 70, item level 370. Cannot use in instance areas such as dungeons, PvP areas, or raids. Interesting. Slaying, aiming. We'll probably get aiming, healing, and casting. You can almost see the wheels turning in Alfred's head. 1,000 gil, 46,000 XP. The news of Doma and Alamahigo liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion, which means the Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arnett, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere, so we'll probably need to ask around. Would that be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied Archivist and require access or request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. They uncover the trove during their occupation. The event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as palace servants and officials in the bureaucracy's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you'll be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful. Be sure to listen well. Avner, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks, while a sick man makes the rounds in Alamegan Quarter. Ah, and there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? We can meet afterwards at Garbert's Gate. Sounds good to me. So I need to go way over there. So let's head on out. I don't know where I'm at now. But we can fly. So let's get to it. Let's take the car this time. Boom, let it come on out. God. Yeah, could you imagine us running down there? It would take forever. So I believe we're going into that city. So let's go up higher so we can get up over the wall. It's good enough. All the time put in that. That's probably a couple months, 30 men, due to the stairs alone. There we go. Sure maid. Oh, she looks like somebody. You want to hear an old maid's stories, do you? Aye, well, most of what I know, the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see his royal majesty when he designed to attend the excursions he ordered. And after a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. Say he started seeing assassins in every shadow. They wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. Bet. Oh, I could have took a teleport here. Etherlight. That's because somebody was hiding over top of it. Alright. Grandma? Grandpa? Who are you? Oriel? Alright, you're not from around here. Can't imagine what call you'd have to chat with me, but by all means, if you got something to ask, ask away. What do you do here? What is this place? Mid-age Highlander. In the palace? No, not me, lad. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad Kings. He used to hold public executions up on the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiracy against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. That's a reasonable thing to do when he's hanging everybody. Let's see if we can't cut around here. Yep, shortcut. There we go. We're wandering around the city today. Tired? Somebody. Garlean. I served at the pleasure of the King Thurdot and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which, of course, we were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still at statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. If your hell's bent on finding out what happened in that palace, head down the street here and ask old Erod. He was the king's head scribe. Head scribe, huh? Now we're getting somewhere. Let's go there and talk. Hey, I think we've talked with you before. Oh, yeah, look at him. Yes, I'm Arnold. What do you want with me? Oh, you would have me dredge up some sadly unsavory memories. Yet if Alahigo is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. That is correct. Very well, I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Thurdix Termnoa and the public executions on his kinsmen? Yes. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days, the king fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court Thurmages to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Therdoc's blood were prone to share his madness, and mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Interesting. Below the palace, you say? Which means it's probably dungeon. We all know how I like them dungeons. Well, there's my group. How'd y'all fare out? And excellent timing as ever. We have but this moment to return from our own intelligence gathering efforts. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures and found precisely none. It's just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the troll's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. It's clear that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Tickman? Were your investigations any more fruitful? Yes. Talk. Turned into monsters. And what could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace? I wonder. I met an old man in Alagura who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he said naught of cursed abominations. Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning him a yarn, do you think? Do you believe him, sick man? Alright, what do I... Did you believe Enron's tale? His fears seemed genuine. He may have been lying. Well, I think his fears seem genuine. That's what I'm going to say. If he was afraid, that does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so easily hasted, Emerald's Arcadoke may very well have told us where the troll is hid, but ere I share my theory, here's a matter I would clarify. Avnad, you spoke of a light-hearted adventurer, but I sense a deeper motive for his expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? Uh-oh. It wasn't all pretense, I swear it. But you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamahigan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleanians. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. Ouch. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Alamahiga. A fair child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. Best I could say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew still on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Eurydice's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arvina, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but I felt it best to be clear for our intentions. Well, Tickman, Are you content to surrender treasure to Harvard's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? No, no, don't say yes. Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's Troll, if you are minded to hear it. Darkness below. Let's go ahead and get the dry rooming accessories of aiming coffer. And let's complete it. So you got to say today. Well, out with it. What's this theory of yours? Well, come on back tomorrow and you will find out. But until then, Delta Escape Chain. Nice. Oh, we don't care about none of that. What we're looking at is, you know what? We'll look at this chest tomorrow. So come on back then, and we'll see what's in the chest, and we'll continue on the main story quest time. Till then, y'all take care.